Welcome to Sullivan Guitar Works Studios, and today at OGW we're going to be taking a look at the Demon TS9 TS808 Overdrive Pedal. The Demon Tube Screamer Overdrive Pro TS808 and TS9 pedal, yes, you're not mistaken, that's how long the name really is obviously an Ibanez TS9 clone. I came into possession of mine actually as a gift from my wife. I was looking at overdrive pedals and boost pedals and different things for my bass rig. And because she was aware of this, she decided to get me something in the cheap range that I can make a video about and have some fun playing around with. And to be completely honest, I don't really know what brand this pedal is made by. I have seen it under the name Yichner. I have seen it under the name Get Music. And I've also seen it under our old favourite Mosky, who made our Nano Power Station. I think it's extremely important to note prices on this sort of pedal, because if you are going to take a shot at a cheap pedal, you're going to want it to actually be cheap. Now, I've seen it advertised on Amazon for $28.99. I've seen it on AliExpress for £10.75. I've seen it other places £12, £13. I've seen it on Wish for £20. I imagine they are the same. They all look exactly the same in the pictures. Whether they all work the same is yet to be seen. My specific model, I believe, came from Amazon, my wife told me. So there are some competitors in a similar price range as the Demon Overdrive. There's the TC Electronic El Cambo, the TC Electronic Cinders, and the TC Electronic Tube Pilot, and they are in the same range that you will find the iMaster and the Rush Booster that we've already done an overview on. There's the Electro Harmonix Lumberjack Overdrive Pedal. You could even look at something like the Behringer OD300 Overdrive Pedal or the Behringer TO800 Overdrive Pedal. So in that sort of £20 to £40 range, there are some fantastic options from some brands that we know and love and trust. So what does the Demon Overdrive have to offer? Well, they stuck with a very recognizable name and the Tube Screamer emblazoned across the front, and they also stuck with the green, which obviously we associate with something like the Ibanez TS9. Now, this pedal has a drive knob on the front, a tone knob on the front, and a level knob. It has inputs on the side and output on the side, and it has the 9-volt DC power input on the side. It also features a foot switch, but something quite interesting about it is it has a little switch at the top between the drive and level knob that says TS9 and TS808. Hopefully we will glean from our sound demos whether there is any sort of dramatic difference between the TS9 setting and the TS808 setting. I couldn't find a specific set of specs for this pedal, but most of the places I look note that it is a true bypass pedal. It comes in a very durable metal casing. None of them really explain how much the milliamp draw is on the pedal. A few of them have the size, and it's not a huge pedal, but it's by no means a mini pedal. The pedal I received came in very minimal packaging with just the barcode and serial number on it and the words pedal model tube overdrive with your typical usual legal stuff like made in China and do not dispose of in a bin. Now, this usually wouldn't fill me with a lot of confidence in this piece of gear, but I have learned from looking at gear over the years that you can be surprised by many things, and sometimes the cheapest products can actually produce some of the greatest sounds and the greatest experiences. I personally have had a lot of fun playing with gear that others might write off because they don't have those boutique or high-end price tags on them. So let's head over to our demo and see what kind of sounds we can get out of the Demon Tube Screamer Overdrive Pro TS808 and TS9 pedal. So here we have the Tube Screamer clone set up on the board, just being powered by a Mosky Power Station Nano. I have the drive set to 0 at the moment and the tone set to 0 and the level at 12 o'clock. The TS9 TS808 switch is in the TS9 position and the pedal is not yet engaged. We'll get a little bass line for our clean sound and then try the pedal as a boost to the clean channel. Just a simple clean tone there from the Marshall amp. So a simple clean tone there from the Marshall amp, and now we engage the Tube Screamer clone and see how it sounds. dirty up a little bit there. It's actually quite a nice, subtle kind of, almost like a crunch channel tone. And that's with the drive at 0 and tone at 0. Now I'm going to switch that over again to the TS808 channel now and see if there's much of a difference. There is a subtle difference there. There's not as much fuzz, there's not as much distortion. I feel like it's just kind of adding a bit of weight to the tone. Now we're going to turn the drive up and turn it back to the TS9 channel and see the difference. Yeah, just a little bit more fuzz on that there, and it's pleasant. It's not a bad sound. It's like probably typical of what a tube screamer would do on these settings. Now I'm going to turn the drive up to 12 o'clock, and this is still on the TS9 setting. Still, again, not a bad sound at all. It's actually quite nice. I'm going to turn it all the way up now past 12 to about the sort of 3 o'clock setting. Still quite like that. Still dig the tone. It's not messy. It's not muddy. It's adding a lot of bass. The pickup on this guitar being it's an Invader by Seymour Duncan. It's quite a bassy pickup anyway. It has a lot of meat in the bottom end. So this is definitely adding a little bit to that. But I don't dislike it. Now we'll completely turn the drive all the way up. It's almost having a similar effect you would have on a Les Paul when you engage the neck pickup, where you get a bit of a meatier, kind of bassier tone. I'm not a huge fan of that tone because sometimes you can lose a bit of clarity in notes if you're using like picked chords, things like that. It can get a bit muddy, but I actually really like that so far. Next we're going to play around with the tone settings. So we're still in TS9 mode and we have the drive fully engaged and the level at 12 o'clock. We are going to now try messing with tone. So let's get our bass sound right now. Quite a thick sound, so let's turn the tone up a quarter. We get quite a difference there. Let's go back and try that. Quite a dramatic difference there, just in a quarter turn. So let's try another quarter to 12 o'clock. It's nice. It's opening things up a lot more. It's giving me a bit more treble and a little bit more mids in the mix. I don't dislike it at all. Let's turn it up a little bit more now. Another quarter turn to 3 o'clock position, roughly. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's not too over the top. It's not too dramatic. It's not making that clean tone jump around and go crazy. So let's try full tone. So that's a nice kind of biting tone. I like the crunch in that there. It's got a little bit more aggression to it. Now we're going to attempt what we just did there, starting from the sort of quarter turn position we tried already on the TS808 setting now. So the pedal is at 12 o'clock volume or level, and the drive is a quarter turn up, and the tone is down. So we are going to now try the drive. Drive at 12 o'clock. That's again very warm, bassy kind of tone. I'm getting that sort of Les Paul neck pickup vibe again. Another quarter turn up on the drive. Yeah, warm, very warm sort of tone. I do like it. I don't dislike that, but I do prefer something with a bit more bite if you're using an overdrive pedal. I think we'll give it a try now at full drive. That's pretty much what I expected from the TS9. I think the TS9's got a little bit more treble, a little bit more clarity. The TS808's definitely got a lot more bass, a lot more bottom end to it. So now let's try messing around with the tone. Turn the tone up a quarter turn. It's the same thing again, we get a bit more clarity, we open up a little bit with the tone. So 12 o'clock now with the tone. Again, same thing I'm noticing as we go through. It's got that same open sort of feel. I'm expecting we'll get a lot more of that as we go, more treble mids. Now last we'll try full tone up. Yeah, I think it's having a similar effect to the TS9. I think it's just a different colour to the TS9 and the TS808 setting. It seems the 808 is a little less distorted and a little less fuzzy, but just a bit more throaty, if that makes sense. A bit more bassy and a bit more sort of ballsy, I'd say. Now we've got the level. I think I'll safely leave the level on 12 so it doesn't get too out of control. I'll leave the tone on 4 and the drive on 4, and I'm going to now switch from TS808 to TS9 and get a kind of comparison between the two. It's the TS808 setting, and this is the TS9 setting. It's quite a subtle difference, but it's definitely noticeable once you play around with it. It's it's a harsher, kind of more fizzy gain on the TS9. TS808's a bit more of a natural kind of boost more than a gain. So we're back where we started with the Tube Screamer clone, with the tone at 0, drive at 0, the level at 12 o'clock. And now engage the gain channel on my Marshall, and I'll give you a little bassline sound from the gain channel. Of the bassline sound I've got. So now we'll engage the pedal on the TS9 setting and see what kind of results we get. Definitely giving a bit more sustain, a little bit of a boost there. It's nice. I want to turn the drive up a quarter turn. Again, it's kind of supporting that distortion and giving it a bit more of a bit of a backbone, really. So let's turn it up to 12. Yeah, I do like what that's doing. It's definitely having a similar effect as the TS9, where it's kind of tightening up that sound. Let's try it another turn up. You can hear the sort of sound. Starting to get a slight ring on the distortion there. Yeah, a lot more gain there. I do like that. It's nice and tight sounding. Turning it up all the way full volume now. Now, as a direct comparison, let's try it on. I'll just have a bash about with it on. Now we disengage the pedal. It definitely boosts when you hear the Tube Screamer clone on. It's definitely boosting the gain massively. So I'll play a note and let it ring. You can hear a difference there, definitely. Now let's move the tone up a quarter turn. Another quarter turn on the tone. Another quarter turn on the tone. I like what it's doing, but it's definitely boosting the sound. It's like feedback territory where we weren't before. We're getting a lot more noise from the amp. Overall, it's definitely doing its job on the TS9. It's offering a similar sound to a TS9. You'd probably use this in conjunction with a noise gate on a board. I would if I was using it for a guitar, especially with a high gain output for a sort of heavy high gain amp as well. I am hesitant to say that the TS808 or TS9 is better, but let's hear what the TS808 sounds like now with the distortion channel. So we are on TS808 setting with the drive and tone at 0. Same guitar. Same channel. Let's see what we got. Let's turn her up. Turn her up again. I definitely like what it's doing. I haven't found anything about it I don't like so far. Let's try it at the 3 o'clock position. And now we'll try the drive all the way up. Time to try the tone. I think if it's going to do the same thing it's done every time we tried it so far, it's probably going to add a little bit more mid and a little bit more treble to the sort of mix. I think we'll get quite a pleasant tone out of the combination of the distortion and the tone being engaged. So let's give it a try. Quarter turn up. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I don't dislike it at all. Now let's try it at 12 o'clock. Sustain is greatly increased there. We noticed that massive amount of sustain there just from using the. I think the tone switch has had tone knob has had a lot of influence on sustain, especially. So whack it up quarter more. It. I'm enjoying it. Full volume now. Full tone. I enjoy those sort of sounds, so let's do a direct comparison between the pedal on in this setting and off. So this is the pedal off, a lot less noise, ambient noise, and versus the pedal on. It seems to have a tightening effect, but also on the tone when you play, but it seems to also have somewhat of a kind of messy effect on the ambient sounds and ambient noises. I don't dislike what the pedal's doing. I really like it, and I plan in one of our next tests to use this pedal with a bass setup and hear how it affects a bass tone using a preamp, and also through just a head as well for a bass, because I think this may, in the TS808 setting, have a good effect on a bass and may be able to give me a bit of an interesting sort of sound with it. But I mean, mostly I'm finding things I like about this pedal. I can't say it's a bad pedal at all. It's not having a massively dramatic effect on my tone. It's not having a sort of tone changing sort of feel to it where I'm like, right, this has to go into every one of my rigs. But I think it's not a bad pedal at all. I think it's fun. So we'll head over now to our conclusion and sort of round up what we found from the demos. So our conclusion on the TS9 TS808 clone Demon Overdrive pedal is tricky because I think it's a really good pedal. I think it's a really solid pedal. It's well built. It works fine. There was no hiccups with it or issues with the sound. There is a noticeable difference between the TS9 and TS808 setting, which I think is part of the appeal for a pedal like this. Most cheap overdrive pedals in this price range offer you one tone profile, and this opens up a whole world with toying around with the drive and the tone and finding a balance between the two, and then finding what you like more. The TS9 setting or TS808 setting gives you so much more options, and for this price that's something you can never complain about, options. I feel like this pedal has some drawbacks. It wasn't a dramatic change to the sound, it was noticeable. The TS9 setting had a lot more fizz, a lot more fuzz, a lot more distortion, and the TS808 had a lot more bass and a lot more sort of like overall warmth. I like them both, and I could see an application for both of them. Coupled up with a decent noise gate, you'd probably find this pedal a lot more useful and enjoyable. But as an overview goes, I think we found a pretty decent conclusion on this one. That is a very good pedal for the price. I would not complain about putting this on a guitar board if you just needed that extra little bit of kick into an amp that maybe doesn't have as much power or just needs tightening up a little bit. If you brought that drive setting down a bit and played with the tone, I think you could get a really nice tight sound. I'm quite happy with that. I think I'd get a lot of use out of this in certain situations. Now I'm going to make a future video about this in a bass setup and see how this sounds as a kick to a preamp, maybe try it before and after the preamp and see what kind of sounds we get out of it. You could even use this pedal as a sort of boost if you wanted to have the options to colour your tone afterwards, but this is definitely served with the drive off and the tone down, just using the level as a little bit of a boost in sort of like gain staging for a board. But no matter what I say about this pedal, I think it comes down to listening to the sound demo and seeing that it's actually quite an effective pedal. Not the most dramatic pedal for tone difference, but very effective at what you need it to do. It worked really well with my Marshall's distortion sound, and it worked really nice with the clean sound. And overall, I would recommend this pedal to people if they want to find something on a budget just to play around with and have a bit of fun with, and you never know, this would creep its way onto your board and actually stay there for a long time. So that's going to do it for us today at OGW Studios. Let us know what you think of the videos, give us a like, subscribe, and give us some comments to let us know what you want to see us do in the future. And if you have a Demon Overdrive TS9 pedal, please let us know what you do with it and how you like it. So take it easy and take care.